Welcome to a total legit guide for Nidus, the hentai. So if you want to survive and deal a shitload of damage at the same time, this is the perfect Warframe for you. And it's not like in ours where you just take a bunch of damage and then sit there like you're waiting for God to have mercy on your soul. Nidus is actually fun. In fact, he's one of the most loved Warframes in the game. He actually does something for once while being an unkillable mass of cancer. To prove how stupid strong this guy is, I've decided to play 1 hour of Moth in Still Path. Because I like self-tort, I mean science. It's for science. Dear God.
Save me!
Now just like in ours, we need to talk about his base stats first. Nidus does not have any shields, but instead 450 HP at max rank, or 525 if you have Nidus Prime. This affects his build, so it's actually kind of important. In addition to that, Nidus also has innate health regen, which allows him to stay alive without outside healing. But we all know that you're gonna stick Arcane Grace on there. No. 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 Oh my fucking God.
Call my name! Wake me up! I can't wake up!
His first passive are his mutation stacks. Yeah, he has more than one. Nidus gains stacks by using his abilities. These stacks allow him to empower and use his abilities, and they're the main part of his kit. The more stacks he has, the more powerful he becomes, and he also changes his appearance until he is fully mutated. We will get to how each ability is affected in his abilities. This passive is pretty fun and interactive way to gain power through gameplay. Remember that you need to keep stacking this shit all the time, so it makes Nidus a frame that is really good in long and drawn out missions like endless missions. 20 minutes in, still going. His second passive is Undying. If you somehow manage to die and have at least 15 stacks, Nidus will consume the stacks to avoid dying, and he becomes invulnerable for 5 seconds and restores 50% of his HP. This passive is fucking bullshit. It makes Nidus the most secure Warframe in the game and allows him to play however the fuck he wants. It's really fucking good. You don't need to do anything in order to get the benefit from it other than just play the damn frame. The more I get into this, the more Nidus seems like he was straight up inspired by cancer. This passive also has an augment, which is kind of weird. Abundant mutation allows Nidus to exceed the 100% stacks threshold to 300, but he now has a cooldown of 30 seconds for Undying. This is really good once you reach the point in the game where you have a build that keeps you alive. If you're a low level player, this isn't for you since you mostly want to take advantage of Undying, but if you're an endgame player, Undying will almost never trigger. This allows Nidus to be a fucking monster in places like the Still Path and Arbitration, and even some Archon Hunts missions. Nidus's one is Virulence. Nidus smashes the ground to release his cancer spikes in a straight line that damage all enemies hit by it. It also staggers them. He also restores energy for each enemy hit and gains mutation stacks. The ability scales off of his mutation stacks too. The more stacks he has, the more damage that they do. This is Nidus's bread, butter, knife, toaster, and the whole goddamn kitchen. This is the only ability in his kit that deals damage directly and stacks his passive. What's good beside the straight up damage is the stagger, since enemies can't reach you, and it's super spammable thanks to the energy regain. It's not massive, but it's nice to have. The damage can reach pretty fucking insane levels, especially with his passive augment, which is how you get this guy to such high levels. Yep, 30 minutes and I'm still here. I think that I broke my wonky. Yeah.
As far back as I can remember, I always knew I deserved to be dead.
His 2 is Larva. Nidus spawns a bundle of hentai tentacles that grab all enemies within its range and groups them to one spot. Enemies that die inside the larva have a 50% chance to add a mutation stack. This is just a simple CC for Nidus, which helps him stack his passive with Virulence. The added stacks are also pretty nice, and if you're in a team they can help you add stacks. Isn't Nidus technically the hentai frame? I'm pretty sure he is. Fuck it, I've decided. He's the entire frame. I am not responsible for whatever happens next. His 3 is Parasitic Link. Nidus consumes 1 mutation stacks to send out a link to an ally or enemy because he is a caring and loving guy that wants to share his diseases with everyone. Linked enemies take up to 50% of the damage dealt to Nidus depending on your ability strength, and it makes Nidus status immune. When allies are linked, they and Nidus get a 25% strength bonus. This ability is really good when used on an enemy, and fucking annoying as shit when used on an ally. Because when you use it on an ally, they have to stay within range of you, so the link won't break. And honestly, you can just get a strength boot from Madra if you want, since you don't have to use Zenric. Using it on an enemy almost guarantees that you won't die, which allows you to use your passive augment more effectively, and you are the one in control of the link. I'm really starting to regret this decision. When Nidus has a linked target, he also sends virulence raptures from the linked target as well, so you get double the benefit. It's such a good ability, but honestly, using it on an ally just feels like you're walking your dog. No, dude, stop moving. Just, dude, you're breaking the link, don't run, holy shit. Just stop for a second, let me use the damn God damn it, you fucking bitch. His ult is Ravenous. You consume 3 stacks in order to create a cancer field around you that heals you for 20 HP per second, and it also starts to spawn maggots. The maggots latch onto enemies and deal toxin damage. You can also use virulence on them to explode them and deal more damage and get more stacks. This ult is what makes Nidus really good at dealing with huge crowds and for surviving in high levels. A lot of people subsume it out, which I understand, but I prefer to keep it. This is probably the least useful ability in his kit, since it doesn't provide anything that is essential, but Nidus is already good in general, so investing in helmet just for him doesn't make much sense. But if you really want to, you can swap it out. This is kind of like Octavia's amp. You use it just to buff the rest of your kit, so you use it cause why the hell not? Okay, reached 1 hour. This wasn't worth it at all, and I regret everything that has led me to this point.
Wake me up!
So the way you build Nidus doesn't really matter. He's a tank, so you can do whatever the fuck you want. This is what I use because it works. The only thing that I suggest that you do is use the passive augment for scaling and adaptation to make sure that you're not going to die. You can min-max this guy if you want, but it's honestly just overkill. Nidus is just a walking spreading tumor. He doesn't die and spreads to fucking everything until everything is dead and he only gets stronger. Holy shit, he is inspired by cancer. Honestly, he's just well known for being an undying asshole, and that's why we use him. He's probably one of the most reliable Warframes for new players when they start heading into the endgame. I'm just saying, it was really hard to write a Nidus episode without any hentai references.